Well, welcome back to Calgary Gymnasium for the second game of our Championship Sunday doubleheader. For this 4 o'clock tip-off, we've got Trinity University and the University of St. Thomas in the 2021 SCAC Championship Tournament final. Ryan Figert joined by Brian Yanselson. And Brian, what are you expecting out of this big matchup?
Well, Ryan, I'm fired up for some more March Madness basketball here at Calgary Gym. We saw Trinity women's team win the SCAC championship earlier, and now we've got truly the two best teams on the men's side. Trinity, the top seed, and St. Thomas, the number 2 seed. The two best coaches in the conference, with Jimmy Smith and Anthony Medina winning co-coaches of the year. And so it's only fair that these teams get a third matchup to really decide the series. Of course, they split their series in Houston earlier this year, with Trinity and St. Thomas both winning one.
Yeah, absolutely. That was the start of the Jimmy Smith era. Coach Medina getting the better of his co-coach of the year in game 1 of the season. But Trinity coming right back and exploding onto the scene was Caleb Jenkins in that game for 19 points, including 9 of 11 from the free throw line. Propelled Trinity to the first of what is now a 10-game winning streak, and Caleb Jenkins is now the SCAC Player of the Year. We're going to step aside here in just a moment for the national anthem and for the player introductions. We'll have the starting fives and tip-off in just a moment. Don't go anywhere.
Basketball Championship Trophy. Southern Leagues Athletic Conference Men's Basketball Championship, University of St. Thomas Celts and the Trinity University Tigers. To honor America, ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem. The starting lineup of the University of St. Thomas Celts. Number 11, a 6'2" junior guard from Cypress, Texas, Cameron James. Number 12, a 6'3" freshman forward from Houston, Texas, Adam Califani. Number 20, a 6'4" senior forward from Fresno, Texas, Christian Alacway. Number 21, a 6'4" sophomore forward from Calvin, Texas, Joshua Sanchez. Number 23, a 5'10" junior guard from Magnolia, Texas, Juan Torres. And the rest of the Celts, with assistant coaches Peter Hurton, Johnny Mishra, Benjamin Schoen, head coach of St. Thomas, Anthony Medina. University of St. Thomas Celts. And now the starting lineup of the Trinity University Tigers. Number 2, a 6'6" sophomore forward from Houston, Texas, Enzo Safety. Number 3, a 6'4" junior guard from Florida, Texas, Ben Handler. Number 5, a 5'10" sophomore guard from Garland, Louisiana, Caleb Jenkins. Number 22, a 6'3" junior guard from San Antonio, A.J. Clark. Number 34, a 6'5" first-year forward from Houston, Texas, Abdullah Roberts. And the rest of the Tigers, assistant coaches Sterling Holmes, Josh England, Darren Arnold, and head coach of the Tigers, Jimmy Smith. Lady Tigers, St. Thomas.
So these two teams started the season facing each other, and their respective campaigns will come to an end face-to-face here in CalGuard Gymnasium as well. The starting fives, as just announced moments ago, for St. Thomas: Cameron Gims, Juan Hood, Christian Elekwe, Joshua Sanchez, and Adam Kanafani. For Trinity, it's the familiar five: Hanley, Clark, Jenkins, Seiki, and Roberts. Set to get underway here. It'll be Roberts up against Kanafani, and Trinity controls the tip. Enzo Seiki catches it, and we are underway here in the men's SCAC championship game. 20 minutes on the clock for the first half of action, and immediately into the action, A.J. Clark cutting to the basket. Couldn't get the left-handed attempt to go. First shot attempt for St. Thomas is a long three missed by Elekwe. Two empty trips down the floor. Seiki looking to get Trinity on the board, and he does so with a straightaway three. He led Trinity in scoring in the opening game against St. Thomas. That defeat, 61-53. It was a really low-scoring affair. Trinity, of course, came back the next day and beat the Celts, setting up this terrific matchup and the series finale, if you will. The response from Juan Hood is good, and we are all square at 3 apiece.
And Hood coming off an amazing performance, 20 points against Centenary.
Seiki, too strong from the left wing. And St. Thomas outrunning in transition. Good job that time from Hanley underneath not to commit a foul. Looks like he took a shot to the nose. Still holding his face behind the play as Jenkins catches it on the left wing for Trinity. Cross-court pass from Clark to Hanley, who tries to get into the lane. Again, good interior defense from the Celts, and they run it in transition. Give and go, and it gets back to Elekwe. Puts it up, no good. Plenty of shot attempts for both of these teams in the opening 2 minutes. Just one apiece. 3-3 on the scoreboard. Jenkins for three, looking to double Trinity's point total. Comes up off the mark. And slicing to the cut. Great move by Juan Hood. He's got all 5 of the visitors' points to start here in CalGuard Gym.
Interesting to see Hood scoring early as Hanley gets a pass inside and lays it up. Hood leads the team in assists with 3.9 per game, but so far he's taken it himself.
Yeah, great movement off what was probably a drawn-up play there for Hanley, who found himself wide open underneath to even the scoring. And another make for St. Thomas from behind the arc, and it's Juan Hood again. Really hot start for the point guard for the Celts. 8 points to his name. 8 points on the scoreboard for his team. Seiki, right wing. Jenkins catches the cross-court pass from Hanley. Jenkins giving up a lot of size in this matchup, but steps through and just couldn't get it to go, despite really being pretty open in the lane in the end, Brian.
Yeah, and Jenkins will be key in this game. Caleb Jenkins, of course, the SCAC Player of the Year. He ended the regular season with a career-high 30 points, but in the SCAC tournament so far, just 12 points and 11 points in the first round against Schreiner. So we will see if the SCAC Player of the Year will turn things around here when it matters most.
Yeah, struggled with foul trouble for the majority of the semifinal game, and it was Tanner Brown who came off the bench to lead the team in scoring. And what ultimately was a 12-point success over Austin College, and Juan Hood is scorching here in the opening moments of the championship game. 11 points already for Juan Hood. Out to Roberts, looking to respond. Too strong, but the offensive rebounds controlled by Hanley. Hood averages just about 14 a game. He's 1 3-pointer away from matching that in the opening 4 minutes as Clark gets inside with the finish. Good ball movement here, and it ends up in the hands of Elekwe, who is struggling so far to start. He had 19 points in the last game. It's going the other way now, and an emphatic slam dunk for Elekwe. It's Canafani, that missed on the last attempt. And Alekwe made sure not to miss as he planted that dunk in the Trinity basket.
That was quite the high-flying dunk right there.
Interesting early substitution here from Coach Smith as White checks into the game for the first time for Jenkins. But we saw White really be a lifeline for Trinity in the semifinal game, bringing the energy off the bench. Had a career-high 13 points and added a lot defensively as well. Seiki back out to Hanley. A.J. Clark pulls for three, straight away, too strong. And the rebound controlled by Juan Hood, who only now doesn't have all of St. Thomas's points after the Alekwe dunk.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe that was a defensive matchup by Coach Smith, putting Jalen White up against the scorching hot Hood.
And that time he is able to affect the shot. Good call from you, Ryan, as Coach Smith's move pays off that trip down the floor. And White looking to make it happen at the other end, in and out three. Thought that might go down for the substitute.
Beyond White's 13 points that you mentioned, just everything he did seemed to be positive for the Tigers last week. So he is going to be a key in this game off the bench.
Three pulled that time by Canafani, no good. Hanley with the mid-range jumper rolls in. Canafella, struggling from the floor in the last two games. He was 0 of 6 in the semifinals and hasn't knocked down a shot so far in this one either. Left corner three is up and off the front of the rim for Gims, another one who's been ice cold from the floor in the two tournament games. Get to that in a moment as Seiki pulls straight away three, comes up short, made it from that spot to open the scoring for Trinity. Couldn't make it happen that time. Frantic pace here as this one is good for Canafani.
Making sure the bank's open on Sunday.
White pulls another three from the right wing, and that one way off the mark. Trinity behind by 6 through 6 minutes of the SCAC championship final. Long three straight away and straight through the net. Cameron Gims on the board here, and that's a big make for him. He was 5 of 23 from three over the last two games before that make. And Clark looking to respond in turn, and he's able to do so. Back and forth action here between the Tigers and the Celts. Hood gets the wrong side of White, pulls for the mid-range jumper, comes up short. 2 straight misses for Juan Hood.
These are two teams that don't exactly light it up from beyond the three-point line, shooting just above 30%. But early on, a back and forth with the three-pointers raining in.
Roberts looking for a teammate. Put the dribble down. Goes to his left for White. Hands off to Hanley. Pulls a long three. Ben Hanley off the front of the rim. Rebound secured by Canafani. Both teams taking quite a few three-pointers here. Not a lot of penetration so far in the opening quote-unquote quarter. 12:37 to go in the first half. Gims swings it around to Canafani. His three-pointer comes off the front of the rim twice. And Trinity can bring it clear. Clark, he will look to penetrate here and kicks it out for Seiki. And Seiki takes the contact, and there's a man down there. It's dangerous underneath the basket, but White gets fouled on the shot.
And that's more of what we've seen from White. We've seen him miss 2 3-point attempts early on, but he's been active on the offensive glass so far this tournament and active just everywhere around the basket. So now he's going to head to the line with 2 free throws.
And he'll do so after the timeout. You saw the Cameron Gims three-pointer there that has St. Thomas out in front, 18-12, 12:17 to go, and the SCAC championship game on the Tiger Network. So any Trinity fans or SCAC fans that haven't kept up necessarily with the news, you wonder, what is it about St. Thomas? They're in the conference for the second season after joining last year and winning the regular season championship. And they were excellent last year, 24-2, but after transferring in from the NAIA, they're ineligible for postseason play. We see they were 10-4 this year, just behind Trinity, who put forth an 8-1 effort in conference to take the regular season crown and the #1 seed in this year's tournament. St. Thomas allowed to participate in the SCAC tournament this year after the coaches voted to let them in because there's no NCAA postseason due to COVID restrictions. It's exciting to see the best two teams in the tournament this year, Brian.
Yeah, and exciting to get them a chance to prove themselves against one another. It seems like forever ago that they played at the beginning of the season, and so now one last opportunity for both of them to claim the SCAC crown.
White checks out after making both free throws. I have to say he came in to stop Juan Hood, who had scored the first 11 points for the Celts, and he did just that, now departing for Jenkins, who re-enters. Hood walks it over the half-court line. Now he's matched up with Donovan Givens, who's come off the bench for Trinity. Foul called against another Trinity substitute, Carter Larimore, excuse me. Trinity looking to get into their defensive set here, 12:02 to go, and Cameron Gims to inbound. Gims has led the team in minutes with 30 a game this year. He's got 9 points, 7 boards, and just about 2 assists.
And it looks like a 3-2 zone by the Tigers, trying to adjust to the hot start by St. Thomas.
And Wood will pull in the face of that zone and miss his first 3-point miss of the game, now 3 of 4. Seiki to Larimore. He'll pull his first shot of the game, a 3-pointer, and off the bench and straight into the scoring, Carter Larimore.
Larimore did not score at all last week, so coming off the bench in the finals, hitting a 3 right away. Talk about a good start.
Jenkins on the closeout, able to affect the shot from Ricks III. And here's Brown into the game. Trinity's 6th man. Led the Tigers in scoring on multiple occasions this year off the bench, including last time out against Austin College in the semifinals with 18 points. Givens out to Seiki. Here's Brown, one of the premier shooters from behind the arc in the conference. Pump fake from Jenkins, gets his man up in the air, and the long 2's no good, but gets his own board. 2 straight misses for Jenkins. Trinity's within 1. St. Thomas with the ball. Hood, open 3, and he is still on fire. Up to 14 points above his per-game average, and we are only a quarter of the way through this contest. Juan Hood out of Magnolia, Texas, getting it done for the Celts in the championship final. And the dump-off pass in transition results in 2 points for Altamirano.
That's the 3rd turnover by the Tigers, none by the Celts, so big early difference as we hit the halfway mark of the first half.
Here's Larimore in the high post. Puts it down, has to evade a steal attempt from Alekwe. Jenkins looking to go baseline, kicks it out to Larimore, just made a 3. This time he'll pass it off to Givens for a 3 of his own. No good, and Seiki couldn't throw it off a Celt to keep possession. It goes the other way. Hood against Jenkins. And another long 3. This one off the mark for Alekwe. Tanner Brown yet to get a shot up off the bench. Sure that won't last for long as Seiki backs down his man and turns to finish at the cup. Another 3-pointer for Hood, same spot, this one too strong. St. Thomas is a high-volume three-point shooting team. Usually it's Cameron Gims who's putting the shots up. Today so far, Juan Hood, and with some success.
Already 13 3-point attempts for the Celts. They averaged about 28 per game, so they're on pace to reach that almost just in the first half alone.
Seiki Single digits on the shot clock, backs down his man once again. Takes some contact on the shot, but no call coming. Instead, the kind roll off the front of the rim for 2 points. Ricks the third in transition, passes it off to Alekwe. They're trying to deny the ball into Juan Hood now. Jenkins trying to make sure he doesn't receive it. And good ball movement here from the Celts, and they eventually will get that open look from the corner. Way too strong that time for Altamirano. Jenkins thought about a three of his own, pump fake, and puts it on the deck. Calls a timeout. And Trinity have done well to cut into the lead. It's now 2 for the Celts. They'll talk it over and will return for the remaining 8:08 of the first half in just a moment. See the stats for the opening 12 minutes of this SCAC championship game. Trinity trailing by 2. Thanks largely in part to Juan Hood, who's led the way for University of St. Thomas with 14 points on 5 of 9 shooting. 1 board as well. A couple of substitutes into the game for the first time. Jack Williams for Trinity, and as well Mason Roberts, excuse me. Trinity going to the bench here. 2 seconds on the shot clock, and have to hoist it up. And it was Tanner Brown who was off the mark. A really long three from Gims. No good. Almost an unnecessarily long three that time from Cameron Gims, who we see from the stats likes to put up the long ball.
And he really gets up there, too, on that arc. Jumps real high.
Here's Tanner Brown slicing to the rim and finishing with the left hand. Great screen that time. Coming from Mason Roberts, opening up the space for Tanner Brown to tie the game. Altamirano up against Givens, behind the back dribble. Goes to Gims. Three right in the face of Tanner Brown, no good, and the ball bounces out of play before anyone can secure it. The miss came from Freddie Ricks III, and we've got another timeout on the floor, this time with the game tied up at 23 apiece. Here, look at this beautiful backdoor cut from Hanley in the opening moments of the game. And then the most recent score for the Tigers was Brown, who got wrong side of Ricks III and made it count. Seiki before that. The kind roll off the front of the rim. Brian, what's your take on the opening 13 minutes of this game? It's been close.
Well, at the beginning, it felt like the Celts would not miss a shot for the rest of the game, but they've slowed down. They haven't scored in the last 3 minutes, and Trinity's on a nice little 6-0 run, settling into the game. Lots of nerves, probably on both sides, with such a big opportunity to win the conference championship. So I think both teams are happy with where they're at. Truly even, limiting the turnovers on both sides. Not too many fouls, so I think both coaches are pretty happy with their teams.
Yeah, I think the turnover point's a good one because St. Thomas forces 21 a game in this tournament so far. Trinity turned it over 13.5 times a game. And also, interestingly enough, St. Thomas have been trailing at halftime in both the quarterfinal and semifinal games. Trinity, conversely, have been leading at halftime in both, so if that is, in fact, the case, heading into the break, who knows what will happen. Almost the unstoppable object coming up, or the unstoppable force and the immovable object coming up against each other. Brown dumps it off to Givens for the corner three, and Trinity have the lead once again. Williams takes a tumble, and that opens up the lane for St. Thomas, but he gets back to his feet and grabs the board. Trinity with some energy coming out of the timeout. Hanley jumps and kicks it back out to Givens.
And Givens another one that didn't play last game. So already him and Larimore coming off the bench and scoring. Brown misses that three-point shot, but Coach Smith going deep into his bench.
Yeah, I think, like you mentioned earlier, playing a lot of matchups against the St. Thomas team who have some really quality offensive talent. And foul this time is going to go, I believe, against Givens for trying to fight through the screen set by Sanchez. Alekwe, Hood, and Canafani, the three starters, check back in. They join Golazewski out on the floor. Here is Hood. He got the scoring going for St. Thomas, and he's matched up here with Hanley. Thinks about the drive, eventually does get to the baseline. Hanley with the big block. Great defense that time from the two-time SCAC honorable mention guard for Trinity. Hanley going the other way, and we'll see how they call it. He dumped it off for Williams. I believe, well, we'll have a look at it here. So it'll be two shots for Hanley, despite the finish coming from Williams almost instantaneously after the foul. You see the St. Thomas player set pretty clearly in the restricted area there.
A great sequence for Hanley, though. Great one-on-one defense against Hood on the defensive end, and then he took it himself to the basket before dishing it off with what would have been an assist, but instead to the line where he makes his first free throw.
And Tanner Brown will come out for Jenkins in between the free throw attempts to join Hanley in the backcourt. Conversation here with Sanchez and his head coach Anthony Medina about who they should be matching up with on the defensive end. So we'll have a look at that next time down the floor for Trinity, who are going with a much bigger lineup than we're used to seeing, with both Roberts and Seiki in the front court alongside Givens. That one nearly thrown away, but tracked down by Hood. He's matched up with Jenkins here. Single digits on the shot clock. Hood gets to his spot, and is too strong with the three-point attempt, but the rebound secured by the Celts, and it's Canafani who finally sees it fall. Canafani's first field goal in the last two games. And he'll get a chance to make it a three-point play from the line. It's off to the left. And it's just 2 points that trip down. So we'll see who the Celts match up with here on defense. Looks like Canafani will guard Roberts. Here's Roberts in the high post, looking for a teammate. Finds Hanley on the right wing. Big cross-court switch pass to Jenkins, who's open for three, but comes up short. Just can't get it to go at the moment, but it's going to stay here. Foul against Sanchez as it was up in the air for the rebound. And we'll see what for. Looks like maybe a little bump in the back of Enzo Seiki. Givens, Hanley, and Roberts check out as Clark, White, and Larimore are back in for Coach Smith. Here's White. He saw the opening, but he was taken away from him that time by Hood, who's looking to push it in transition. And Gibbs, with a hand all in his face, pulls the three. No good. But Trinity can't secure the rebound. Sanchez dumps it off to Alekwe. And it opened up for him after Jenkins went to ground. Advantage St. Thomas now. Still advantage Trinity. They're up 1. As Jenkins pulls for 3, looking to get on the board, and can he get a kind bounce? No. In and out on the 3-point attempt that time for Caleb Jenkins, who's now 0 for 5.
Yeah, another slow start for Jenkins. Unfortunately, can't buy a basket here in the first half.
Yeah, pretty clear travel violation that time by Canafani. And that will take us into the final media timeout of the first half. We are locked in a close matchup here. Trinity with the advantage 28-27. We'll return for the final segment of the first half in just a moment. You see the path to the final for both teams. St. Thomas beating Dallas and Centenary. Trinity with victories over Schreiner and Austin to reach this final. Interestingly enough, St. Thomas have been outshot by their first 2 opponents in this tournament by 5%, or in the case of the Dallas game, over 10%. Forcing a lot of turnovers and grinding out results as Seiki's 3 is off the mark. It's got them to this point, where they currently trail by 1, 28-27. But with that, another 3-point attempt there out of the timeout, Ryan. Trinity's shooting way more threes than we've come to expect from them this season.
Yeah, we talked about it in the break. They average 21 3-point attempts per game, but they're already at 17. So on pace to go well over their season average.
Jenkins gets it back from Larimore, wants to drive this time. The floater in the lane, and he finally gets one to go. Thought he might have taken contact on the shot as well. It's important, though, as the SCAC Player of the Year gets his first points of the championship game. Larimore called for another foul, trying to fight through a screen. We see the defense, it looked pretty straight up from Alekwe, but the giant killer from Caleb Jenkins pushed Trinity's lead to 3.
And as well as the Celts have played this first half, it has to be a little bit scary for them to know that Caleb Jenkins just now got on the board for the first time, and they're still down 3.
They've bore witness to what he can do in that second matchup between these two teams this season when he exploded for 19. Good defense here, trapping down low, and Trinity forced a turnover.
Those 19 points you mentioned, really his breakout game. He wasn't even starting for the Tigers in those first couple games up in Houston. And he went on to win SCAC Player of the Year. Transfer from Millsaps really making his presence felt in San Antonio.
He's making the backdoor cut here after the back screen from Seiki. Good adjustments by the Celts. And Clark cuts to the baseline. Play breaks down a little bit here. Ends up in the hands of Seiki. He's got 2 defenders on him. Spins in the lane, puts it up, and gets another kind bounce. Enzo Seiki doing it again against the Celts. Good ball movement there from St. Thomas in transition, and Alekwe cuts and scores to respond. Had momentarily been a 5-point lead for the Tigers. Now back down to 3. See if Clark can get back into his facilitating mood. He does. It's a great bounce pass into Seiki, who I think he might have thought about going to dunk it. Instead, came up short off the front of the rim. And a good foul there to prevent the easy bucket for Sanchez. See that pass from Clark at the other end again if we can. Sometimes he just gets the look in his eyes. You know he's going to find a teammate. And Seiki just couldn't convert it that time for an assist for Clark.
Yeah, and then White with the offensive rebound, but he couldn't put it up either.
First free throw is good for Sanchez. See that beautiful bounce pass, and Seiki got caught up maybe thinking about the defense from Juan Hood coming across from the weak side and couldn't convert. Chance to cut the lead to 1 for Sanchez. But his free throw is too strong. 2 minutes and 8 seconds to go here in the first half of the crowning jewel of SCAC basketball this season. Championship game. Jenkins gets his shot blocked. It falls to Roberts, who's fouled on his way back up. And Abdullah Roberts will head to the line. There was a point this season where he was pretty much responsible for keeping the winning streak alive. He hit a buzzer beater turnaround jumper against TLU to win the Tigers a game in which they struggled offensively. And since then, Coach Smith's team have really got going in terms of scoring. That'll be a moment that Abdullah Roberts will be remembered for this season. And that won't be, as he goes 0 for 2 at the line. Pair of misses for the first year forward. Jenkins up against Hood. Hood gets the screen and gets into the lane. Pass into the left corner, and the three goes up off the front of the rim. Offensive rebound. And the long three by Juan Hood. Second chance points there, and St. Thomas are back out in front by 1.
Yeah, it had been a while since we heard from Hood, but he was making sure we don't forget about him.
17 points now in the first half alone. Jenkins into the lane, takes the contact, and say it's on the floor. Before Jenkins was able to get the shot up, so it'll be a baseline inbounds play for Trinity. Hanley needs somebody to get open here, and quickly, and eventually Jenkins does. He pulls the corner three off the inbounds play. No good. Looks like Jenkins still a bit cold from the floor, and he'll check out for A.J. Clark. Roberts out for Givens as well. No, looks like Hanley will take a seat. And St. Thomas want to draw something up here with 1 minute and 8 seconds to go in the first half, and the 1 point advantage. We'll be right back in just a moment to see what they come up with. Quick word for Coach Medina and the Celts. Coach Medina in his 6th season in charge. He's just the 2nd head coach in program history after his former coach, Todd Smith. Medina, former player for the Celts, left the program as the all-time leader in points, rebounds, minutes, games, and three-pointers made. And he continues to build his legend in Houston, now as the coach. The zone coming out once again for Trinity from the timeout. And it forces the turnover as the pass too hot to handle for Alekwe. Trinity looking to push it in transition. Clark to Hanley, who now cut to the basket. Last touch off Hanley as it was knocked away from him.
It'll be interesting to see if that zone sticks around. Last time we saw it, it was just for one or two plays. So as they cross the half-court line, looks like it will stay for the end of the half.
11-second difference between the shot and the game clock here. The Celts dealing with the Trinity zone. They get a look for three. Gims, no good, but they get another look for Gims. Instead, he passes it up. Swung around the arc for Hood, who's on fire. He's had some first half. Juan Hood pushes the lead out to 4 points for the Celts. 5 seconds to shoot for Trinity. 2 seconds to go. Brown forces a shot up, and what a finish! Tanner Brown keeps the momentum going for Trinity into the break, cuts the St. Thomas lead to 1 with this buzzer beater 3 falling away. Are you kidding me, Tanner Brown?
That's a huge 3, too. St. Thomas was on a 9-0 run, had taken a 4-point lead, but now Trinity goes into the locker room feeling good about themselves.
You see the team stats, both teams taking 35 shots in the first half. And St. Thomas shooting just slightly better, but Trinity making it up at the free throw line and leading in the rebounds department as well. And this game is delicately poised. We can't wait to see what the second half will offer us. 15 minutes until we get back underway. You're watching SCAC Championship Basketball on the Tiger Network. So for the first time in this year's SCAC championship tournament, the University of St. Thomas leads their game at halftime. They lead 36-35 against the #1 seed and the home team today, Trinity University, largely in part due to the heroics, Brian, of Juan Hood.
Yeah, Hood has been remarkable. 20 points in the first half. 6 of 9 from the three-point line, just making it rain from beyond the arc. And it's been tough to stop him for the Tigers.
Yeah, we saw Trinity adjust their defense, go to his zone to try and contain what he was able to do in the first half. We'll see if they stick with that or if they've made certain defensive adjustments at the break. Of course, the two co-coaches of the year in the SCAC going up against each other. Coach Jimmy Smith in his first season for Trinity and Coach Anthony Medina for the Celts, who have the ball here as we get back underway. 20 minutes on the clock, and Juan Hood with the ball. He scored the first 11 of the first half for the visitors, and now he's got Abdullah Roberts draped all over him. Clark on the closeout, and Gims now in the corner. Swinging around back to Hood, single digits on the shot clock. Up against Roberts once again, creates the separation and knocks down the jumper with a hand in his face. Juan Hood starting where he left off in the first half.
Yeah, you mentioned the hand in his face. A.J. Clark did a great job closing on him, but still able to make that shot for 22nd point of the game.
Great pass there from Trinity's number 22. And Enzo Seiki is going to get the and one opportunity. A.J. Clark just dropped it in to Seiki, who turned and took the contact before finishing. Sanchez was hoping to draw an offensive foul, but I think he had heels in the restricted area. Seiki, a player that plays with real force and strength down low, is frequently called for offensive fouls. So the precedent was there, but this time he's the recipient of the decision from the official and a chance to tie the game, now in double figures with 11. And he can't do so. It remains advantage St. Thomas.
Despite the missed free throw, Seiki now in double digits for the third consecutive game. So every game in this tournament, Seiki scoring more than 10.
Again, Roberts is the matchup for Juan Hood, who this time kicks it out to the left wing, and the three-pointer rains in for Christian Elekwe. That time, Hood registering his first assist. The defense forcing him to pass it off, but Elekwe knocks it down all the same. 4-point lead for St. Thomas. Jenkins missed it and gets called for the offensive foul. Maybe a little unfairly. I thought he caught the ball as much as the St. Thomas player did, but nonetheless, Jenkins' rough start to the game continues, at least shooting-wise. Now 1 of 9 and 0 of 5 from 3, just 1 rebound and no assists so far for the SCAC player of the year.
Interesting to see Tigers not go with the 3-2 zone that we saw a couple times in the first half.
Hood again looking to dish it off, and it finds a Celt in the corner. The shot missed by Canafani. He couldn't have been more open. Big miss that time for Canafani, and another miss by Jenkins. Referee said the defense was straight up, and this time Seiki called for a foul. He said he was in the restricted area. Strong start to the second half for the Celts, and good decision from the referee as Seiki couldn't clear the half circle. Canafani heads to the line, and Jenkins heads to the bench, 1 of 10 in the game. And the 1-and-1 missed by Canafani. And a timeout on the floor here for, I think, a clock malfunction. So Trinity will take it out of bounds from in front of the scorer's table. Roberts, Hanley, and White in the front court. Clark and Seiki in the back court for Trinity, who are working from behind by 7 here. And I think that was actually the issue to do with the scoring. They're still working to sort it out. Games between these two teams last season were very much so one-sided, as St. Thomas put 100 on Trinity in Houston, 104-72, and came here and won 88-64. And Coach Smith has come in and turned things around, took a game from St. Thomas early in the year, and of course has the Tigers on a 10-game winning streak, their first 10-plus game win streak since 2011-2012, when they went on a 12-game tear, including an NCAA tournament game, which they won against UMHB. Of course, won't be taking place this year. They'll be able to go out on a high if they can come from behind here to win the SCAC championship trophy.
Yeah, and you mentioned the turnaround that Coach Smith has led, and he's used to doing that at every program that he takes over at. He first coached at Schreiner, leading them to their first winning season since 1998, back in 2013. Then he led TLU, also within the SCAC, to their first NCAA tournament after they had finished in last place the year before he arrived. And most recently at Millsaps, they had 4 wins before Smith arrived, and then they went all the way to the conference championship game. So Smith used to turning this team around.
Absolutely. He was named Coach of the Year on 2 occasions with TLU and became the first to win that award with 2 different teams in SCAC history this year, as he shares it with Coach Medina, his opposition today. Great backdoor cut by White, and he receives the pass and can't finish at the rim. Good help side defense from Gims to force the miss. Here is Gims. Not afraid to pull it from anywhere, but this time passes it off. He's got it back. As the Celts swing it around. Hood. Alekwe down to the pass intercepted by White. It was intended for Kanafani. Clark called for an offensive foul at the other end as the two teams trade turnovers. That's the hustle we saw from White that kept Trinity out in front against Austin College last week. It's going to have to inspire them to come from behind here.
Yeah, we didn't see a lot of turnovers early in the first half, Ryan, but now a couple consecutive ones. Pretty clean game, few fouls, few turnovers.
Hood into the lane, puts it up, and he can't miss. Even up against Jalen White for Trinity. He got wrong side of his defender and easily scored in the lane that time. Trinity, no points in over 2 minutes of play now. Clark lost his footing, able to keep the ball in play with Hanley. And Seiki has it now on the drive into the lane, and it's wide open for Enzo Seiki. Good vision from him to see the opening and to take advantage for 2 points.
And a big basket that ends the 7-0 run by the Celts. Starting to pull away with an 8-point lead, but now down to 6.
That was their biggest of the game so far. Hood finally comes up with a miss, and Clark grabs the rebound. Hanley, right wing. Back to Clark, all the way to White, who drives and kicks to Roberts for the straightaway 3, and a big make for Abdullah Roberts. Trinity back within 3, a 1-possession game once again. I think everybody getting a touch of the ball that time down the court as well, eventually resulting in that look for Roberts from deep.
And Roberts, not someone we're used to seeing a lot of points from, just 4 games in the semifinal and 6 in the quarterfinal against Schreiner, but a big 3-pointer right there.
It's going to need a big defensive effort here against Hood, who drives and kicks, and the corner 3 no good for St. Thomas. Alekwe couldn't get it to go, and eventually finds its way back into the corner for Kanafani, no good again. And Trinity fighting with the Celts here to control the rebound. Eventually Clark does come down with it. And Clark now drives into the lane, gets onto his favored left hand, and gets the finish off the front of the rim. And timeout on the floors. We're under 16 to go in the half. A.J. Clark and Abdullah Roberts getting Trinity right back into this game. They trail by 1. 15:29 remaining in the SCAC championship game. Had a good look at Coach Medina there in the St. Thomas huddle. They currently hold a 1-point advantage. 15:29 to go. He's 86-61 all time as Kelt's coach, and that includes both NAIA and NCAA play, as he's managed the transition between divisions. Their last year in the Red River Conference of the NAIA, they took home the conference tournament championship. So they've certainly got some players returning from that squad, and the coach with experience and winning in the knockout format, getting the opportunity this year because of the lack of NCAA postseason to hop into SCAC tournament play a couple of years early. Good hand that time from Clark, knocked it away, and now he's running the transition. He's got Hood in his way, and his shot actually caught that time by Cameron Gims. Great defense from Gims. And an and one going the other way as White's called for the foul. Tough sequence for Trinity there out of the timeout. You saw Clark had to sidestep Hood to avoid the offensive foul, and Gims using his size coming across. Tough to see how White managed to foul there, but nonetheless, Alec Way will get a chance to make it a 3-point play and push the lead to 4. And he can't do so. Stays at 3. And Clark is in double figures for rebounds now. That was his 11th. No assists, though, uncharacteristically from Clark. We saw he's got a couple teammates open, and they just haven't been able to finish. Hanley gets that one back off the hand of Gims. 11 to shoot for Trinity. White, left wing, gets into the lane. He goes in a contested situation and gets the 2 points and 1. You have to say, White probably didn't see any daylight on this drive as the defense collapsed around him, and he gets the kind roll off the heel of the rim. He can tie this game up. I saw Tanner Brown in your shot there congratulating White. He's back in the game alongside Donovan Givens. And White coming alive in the tournament once again. 5 points now in the game. 3 of 3 from the free throw line as well.
And you can't help but notice that White is also being placed on Hood defensively, so not only providing a spark on offense, but a difficult task of guarding the Celts' leading scorer.
Swung around to Gims on the right wing, up against Hanley. And a foul is going to go against St. Thomas here. Lakeway called for something as he was running alongside Givens. Seiki back in for Clark, who leads the game in rebounds with 11. Take a seat, 7 points on 3 of 5 shooting. Seiki in the middle for Trinity. He comes to set the screen for Givens. Wants it back on the pick and pop. Now he'll drive. Pulls it out. White sees some space in the lane, gets to the cup, and gets a couple of kind bounces as well. Jalen White has Trinity in front by 2. It's Jalen White against Hood right now. And the Trinity bench is bringing the energy, feeling the momentum after they regain the lead.
To tie the game up. So it might be about which team can get that final run.
Hanley blew by his first defender and was tied up on the shot. Some good strength shown by Alekwe. It'll stay with Trinity on this occasion. We haven't seen much out of Tanner Brown yet. He's 5 points on 2 of 4. His most notable moment, of course, the buzzer beater at the end of the half. How can we forget? Terrific shot that will no doubt play a big part in the final score of this game. Trinity shooting 43% as a team, and likewise St. Thomas marginally ahead by a couple decimal places. I think White might have some bleeding here that they have to deal with. Otherwise, you'll have to come out of the game. Get the uncomfortable fixing up the nostril to try and stop the bleeding, and White will stay in the game. Trinity ball underneath the basket, tied game, 12:54 to go. We'll see maybe what happened as White again got to the rim. That was prior to the last defensive trip down the floor for Trinity. Hanley, Seiki, Givens, White, and Brown out on the floor for Coach Smith. Ricks the third, Gims, Alekwe, Sanchez, and Hood for the Celts. 7 to shoot. And we seem to be paused here.
Looks like there's an issue with the clock. Reads 1:25. Now they fixed it to 12:56.
Well, if we want to skip ahead to 1:56 left of the tied game, it's sure to be an exciting conclusion. As it has been both times these teams have met this season. And now confusion over whether there's a timeout or not. See now 12:59 with 9 to shoot is the final result of the conference between the officials. If you're just tuning in, it was Juan Hood who led the Celts in the first half. He still leads the way with 24 points. Seiki straightaway 3 out of the timeout, or the interval. It wasn't really a timeout. He's no good, and we've got a tied game here. Hood open for 3, and that's trouble for Trinity, but he can't knock it down. He's cooled off here in the second half, and Tiger fans will rejoice. He started the game 4 of 4 from 3.
Yeah, and even there he had the open shot, but it was a tough step back jump shot. So nothing coming easy like it did in the first half for Hood.
Hanley facilitating the offense. Wants to go down low for Seiki, who's caught underneath the basket and stepped on the line. Tough entry pass for Seiki to deal with there. Juan Hood brings it forward for the Celts, battling for position down low. Seiki currently winning that battle. He's going to have to do some defensive work here. Sanchez swings it across the arc, and the 3 is way too strong for Ricks the third. And we've got a timeout on the floor after the momentum died a little bit for both teams there, but it's a tied game. You see the game stats on your screen, and we'll take the timeout with them, 49 apiece. You're watching the SCAC Championship on the Tiger Network. Two teams break the huddle. And Jenkins is back in for Trinity. See if he can get it going here. In the final 12 minutes of this season. This time hands off to Brown. Gets it back. Takes a screen from Seiki. No opening in the St. Thomas defense at the moment. Help coming across the double for Seiki. And Givens hasn't knocked away from him momentarily. 5 to shoot now for the Tigers. Jump stop into the lane for Seiki, and he gets it done with just 3 to shoot. The Celts looking to run it the other way. And hand in the face for Alekwe. And Givens is called for the foul because of it. From our angle, I thought he got a hand on the ball, but we're considerably further away from the official. I'm sure we'll get a replay of it as Alekwe heads to the line. Chance to answer the 2-point basket from Seiki at the other end. Comes up short with the first attempt, and we'll see why he's at the line in the first place. And the second one is good. You see contact does come down on the hand. Good call by the official.
Yeah, not a huge volume so far, but in a close game like this, important to note that St. Thomas has missed 5 free throws, just 2 of 7, shooting 28%.
Jenkins with the long 2, and it's sweet. And pushes the lead to 3. Looked really comfortable there coming off the screen, Jenkins. Chance to tie the game back up. Ricks the third. No good. And I think there was an issue maybe with Tanner Brown's shoe. They'll actually hit Tanner Brown here with a technical foul. They'll say he flopped after being warned. You can maybe see why. We're currently at the line with Alekwe once again. It's his first foul of the game. Alekwe is on the money with the free throw. Trinity ball, but the lead is cut by 1.
That's interesting. I don't think I had ever seen a call for flopping in my life, but in the quarterfinal for the SCAC tournament against Schreiner, they earned a warning for flopping, and then right here, Brown gets a technical for it. So
Yeah,
something the referees are on the lookout for.
Looked maybe just a little unlucky as Brown, I think, lost his footing and lost his balance. But if he'd already been warned, you can understand it from the official as Jenkins wanted to make it 2 straight makes down the floor, that time off the mark with the 3. 0 for 6 now from behind the arc. And frequently dealing with 2 defenders. Ricks takes the contact from Larimore and throws it up. He'll head to the line. Freddie Ricks III can tie the game.
Correction.
First is good for Ricks III. St. Thomas not even contesting on the rebounding. They trust Ricks III to knock it down, which he does. Tied game.
16 fouls for Trinity, 6.
Trinity at 6 team fouls at the moment. We'll be into the single bonus soon.
And they only had 6 in the first half, so just halfway through the second half and already at that same number. Could be seeing a lot of free throws for the Celts.
Larimore, handoff to Jenkins. Behind the back dribble. A little shake and bake. Thought about going into the lane. Instead, hands it off to Brown, who gets to the cup and gets fouled. Nearly got it to go. It went in and out despite the contact.
Right there you saw Jenkins hand it off to Brown, who's now at the free throw line. It feels like those two are going to be the key for the Tigers heading down the stretch. Brown with just 5 points after 18 last week to lead the Tigers and can't get that free throw to rattle in. And Jenkins with just 4 after earning the SCAC Player of the Year honor. Just feels like if the Tigers are going to pull out this championship win, they're going to have to get more out of these two.
1 of 2 at the line for Brown. I definitely agree, Brian. Need to see more out of the Stars. We saw the SCAC Player of the Year for the women's team, Colorado College, struggle as well earlier today. Of course, Trinity taking that one. First game of the championship Sunday doubleheader. That pass thrown right to A.J. Clark. And he'll throw it ahead to Givens. Clark cut through the lane to try and open up space for a teammate. But Jenkins will slow it down here with 20 to shoot. Brown working against Hood, gets the screen from Larimore, goes back to Larimore. He thought about the three, but he just wasn't in his rhythm. Clark, bounce pass down low for Brown, who's fighting through the defense, and Jenkins tried to get amongst it to tip it out. Instead, it's St. Thomas going the other way, and Alekwe able to lay it in for two. And the Celts back in front.
Yeah, and really nice transition basketball right there by St. Thomas. Haven't seen a ton of that, as both teams are limiting turnovers, but as we say limiting turnovers, we see a couple. Tigers get the ball back.
No look pass there from Clark. Found Jenkins, who was marked in the corner. Home team and top seed Trinity Tigers trailing by 1. Hood called for a foul as Brown tried to cut to the rim. Larimore will take a seat for Trinity, and Roberts will come back in. Tigers don't really have a leading scorer. It's Seiki at the moment, the only one in double figures. They're still right in this game, just trailing by 1, but they haven't had any of their main scoring talent at full strength, you have to say.
They've had 9 different players score, so nobody stands out too much, but they are spreading the wealth. Just kept them in this game.
Clark creates separation and knocks down the 2. And it was Cameron Gims who went to the floor. And I think Gims is called for a technical foul as well? No. Delay of game, possibly. It will be a technical foul for delay of game here, I think.
It looks like it might have been the flopping again.
Well, now it's evened out. Brown, who was called for it at the other end, will take the technical free throw and knock it down after a couple bounces on the rim. Hand signal coming from Coach Smith. It looks like a 3. We'll see if they go back into that zone. We saw at times in the first half. Givens is going to be pressuring Ricks III in the backcourt here. And you see the positioning of Givens is just trying to deny Juan Hood the ball, the way he's taking away the left side there. They just want someone else to beat them, because Hood has had it so far, and Alekwe has the space underneath. And good patience shown that time by Ricks III to find his open teammate.
Yeah, great find. You mentioned they were just trying to deny Hood the ball, but Kelt said, okay, we'll score some other people on the team.
Yeah, Alekwe averaging just about 12 a game, so he's no slouch on the offensive end. And Roberts trying to prevent a turnover, but he's unable to do so. Jenkins the only one back. And the return pass back to Cameron Gims means St. Thomas is back out in front by 2 as we seesaw back and forth here in the second half. St. Thomas bench incensed that Jenkins didn't get called for a travel there. And Givens thought he might have been fouled in the lane. Instead, we go the other way with the Celts. Alekwe, and he's coming alive here in the second half. And he's now got 21 in the game. 24 for Hood, 21 for Alekwe, and a 4-point lead for the visiting Celts because of this basket. And just the top of your screen, a couple of bounces off the rim and eventually fell through. Trinity's offense needs to get going here. They trail by 4 with 7:14 to go. So in the first half, it was Juan Hood for the Celts. In the second half, it's been Christian Elekwe. Both now above 20 points in the game. Not a ton of scoring elsewhere for the visitors, but with a combined 45 of the 61, I don't think they'll be complaining about that production. Elekwe, the senior, playing in his final game of Fresno, Texas. Hood, the junior, in his first year with the Celts. Brown, some space underneath, takes the contact from Hood, and will head to the line. Third foul against Hood, who may have to come out of the game here. And there'll be another timeout on the floor for the media break. Still a 4-point lead for St. Thomas. No score changes since our last break. And we'll take it with them once again, 61-57 in the SCAC championship game. So 6-0 run for the University of St. Thomas has them back out in front by 4. Tanner Brown can halt that with 2 free throws here. Juan Hood has stayed in the game for now with 3 fouls. The only one with 3 for Trinity is Carter Larimore, currently on the bench. First free throw is good for Brown. One or two that time, and the rebound controlled by Cameron Gims. Still a 1-possession game, but St. Thomas with the ball and the 3-point lead. Brown committing there, trying to get the steal from Ricks III, and it finds its way to Elekwe in the corner. No good for 3. Could have been a big shot there for the visitors had it fallen.
Yeah, a risky move there by Brown trying to get the steal, but worked out in the Tigers' favor.
Hanley to Jenkins, who this time does cut through the lane like a knife through butter. Opened right up for him. He laid it in with the left hand, and he gets the steal as well. No, they'll say there's contact. And that'll send the Celts to the line. That's the Caleb Jenkins we've seen all season. Unfortunately, a little overzealous defensively. And he sends Ricks III to the line as St. Thomas are in the bonus with 6:19 to go. It's a 1-and-1. So much pressure placed on the first free throw of the 1-and-1, and that's the second time the Celts have missed it in this game.
And I'm not quite sure why, once again, the Celts didn't put anybody there to try to rebound that miss on the 1-and-1.
Seiki pulls for the straightaway 3. No good, but Jenkins steals the rebound, has his shot blocked by Gims at the rim. And Hood dribbles it clear. Ricks III sees light at the end of the tunnel, drives, and this time kicks for an open teammate, and Cameron Gims knocks it down. Pushes the lead back out to 4. Gims now with 5 points in the game. Jenkins looking to respond, no good. White fighting for the rebound. Commits a foul and will be headed down the other end for free throws again. And there you understand Jenkins grabbing that rebound. He's excited, he wants to get the shot up, but he had his teammates coming back up the floor. Maybe could have passed it out and kept the ball, been a little more patient.
Yeah, and then right there, tough three-point shot. Hasn't been his day so far, and forced it up with plenty of time left on the shot clock.
He's 3 of 16 as he heads to the bench again. Givens coming back in. And I think a lot of the struggles, obviously there's the three-point shooting as the first of the one-on-one goes down, is that St. Thomas boasts a lot more height than some teams in the SCAC, and Jenkins notably not one of the tallest players on the court. He's coming up against some really strong interior defense from the Celts. 2 makes at the line for Gims, who's now up to 9 points in the game, just his season average. He led the team in minutes last season as well, scoring 10 a game. Givens to Seiki. He'll step back for the long 2. Tough shot, knocks it down. Big make for Enzo Seiki.
That is a tough shot. I was curious about seeing him put it up. Step back jump shot with plenty of time left again, but worked out for him.
Cuts the lead to 4 as we approach 5 minutes to play. Ricks the third, bounce pass into Sanchez. Gims pulls the really long 3 with a hand in his face, and Cameron Gims is heating up here. He's got 8 points in the last minute or so. Now into double figures as well. Seiki, they go back to him. Hands off to Givens. Tanner Brown has his 3 blocked by Gim, who then commits the foul. You see, he pump fakes, pass fakes. You think surely he won't pull it from back there. Oh, he will. He will, and on this occasion knocks it down with Tanner Brown's hand in his face. Those two come together again at the other end, which leads to the foul. Trinity takes it out of bounds. Another long 2 for Seiki. Thought maybe he's finding his feet from that kind of range after the recent make, but that one off the mark. Hood hasn't been as active in the second half as Trinity have denied him the ball, but it's been Alekwe and most recently Cameron Gims who have stepped up. Here is Hood though. Jump stop into the paint, kicks it out, and the 3 rattles out and then back in. And the lead is pushed to 10 for the Celts. And warning signs starting to show here for Trinity. They need to find a consistent avenue of scoring. That pass tipped up in the air, secured by Hood. And a turnover, that trip down the floor. Hood gets wrong side of Brown. Into the lane, kicks it out to Ricks the third, and that makes it a 13-point advantage for the visitors as they pour it on here with 3:28 to go in the game. And there's a timeout on the floor as Ricks the third steps into a 3 and makes it a 13-point game. And we mentioned how head coach Jimmy Smith for Trinity is a specialist in turning things around in a program sense, and he's got 3 minutes and 28 seconds to do that in this game. St. Thomas lead has swelled to 13 after a couple of makes in a row from behind the arc. And Trinity need a consistent avenue of scoring. That time Clark sits his defender down, and Hanley will slice into the lane. Back out to A.J. Clark. And the three-pointer comes up short, but he grabs his own rebound. Givens to Jenkins. Screen from Roberts. Jenkins onto the left hand, hands off for Clark. He'll pull another three from the opposite side. And way too strong on that one. Trinity can't come up with any points out of the timeout.
Yeah, and Trinity just shooting way more three-pointers than we are used to seeing from them, making just 6 of 28. That's 21% from behind the arc.
Hood into the lane here, kicks out for the three from the left side, and Cameron Gims puts the dagger in this one, I think. You hate to say it with 2:30 to go, but the biggest lead for either team now, 16 points.
Yeah, this has been such an even game, and it's a shame to see it pull away right here as St. Thomas is, as Hanley drives in to cut the lead to 14, but it really has been that difference behind the three-point arc. St. Thomas got started flaming hot. Hood getting many of his points in the first half behind the arc, and they just really haven't looked back. They've made 13 of 35 for 37% from three.
And they'll be headed to the line here. Cameron Gims was perfect on his last trip to the line and knocks down the first one here as well. He's coming off of a couple of tough shooting performances, went 3 of 12 in the quarterfinal and 2 of 11 in the semifinal, but today showed up when it matters, and he's 4 of 9 from three. 16-point lead for the visitors. Jenkins will pull the three with a hand in his face, too strong, gets his own rebound, dribbles it off the foot of the defender, I thought, but no. Either way, they head down the other end.
And you could see Jenkins very frustrated after he lost that rebound, and just 3 for 17 on the day. Not what we're used to seeing from the SCAC Player of the Year, but it hasn't been his best tournament.
Alekwe, the corner three, no good. St. Thomas finding consistent looks and making most of them as of late. That one came up no good, and Trinity will take a timeout with 1:31 to go. This game winding down, and the SCAC championship game currently led by St. Thomas, 80-64. So Trinity brings in many of their senior players here out of the timeout, playing in, of course, their final game. Here's Stephen Molina, eager to drive, and is fouled. Molina will head to the line. Oldham, Molina, Williams, Peavy, and Marquez out on the floor for Coach Smith. With 1:22 to go. And the first free throw is no good. You can almost feel like the frustration coming off the Trinity bench as their key contributors take a seat. A game that just got away from them in the second half with some really strong three-point shooting performances from the Celts.
Yeah, a really misleading score right now with St. Thomas leading by 16. It really has not been a lopsided game. It was a game of runs, back and forth affair, and just as of late, the Celts were draining their threes and almost got another one right there to show what kind of day it's been, but
Yeah,
a really good performance by St. Thomas.
Using up the entire shot clock there, and it's 50.9 seconds to go in this one as Molina brings it forward. He drives and he is fouled. He'll head to the line once again. I think foul on Gims that time. So for Coach Jimmy Smith in his first season for Trinity, began with a loss to St. Thomas and looks like it will end likewise here. This time, though, on home court, it will hurt more as it, of course, was being played with the trophy on the line. Still, tons of positive signs this season, clearly. The 10-game winning streak in the middle of those 2 losses as Molina is on the board with 2 free throws there.
Yeah, and a bright future as well, as you mentioned, the seniors in right now. Just 3 seniors for the Tigers, and none of the key contributors for Trinity this year are leaving, as SCAC Player of the Year Caleb Jenkins, just a sophomore. Tanner Brown also earning all SCAC honors. He's just a first year. So Jimmy Smith has really great roster to work with and continue to keep turning things around here in San Antonio.
Absolutely, and of course, we want congratulations to be given to Coach Anthony Medina, who was able to win the Red River Conference tournament 2 seasons ago, was ineligible for postseason play last year, and in their first time back in a conference tournament, they take it home, come to San Antonio, and beat Trinity in their own gym to bring home the trophy. St. Thomas Celts, in their first appearance in the SCAC tournament, are champions. Congratulations to them and to Trinity on a great season as well. We thank you so much for joining us all year. And if you'll stick around, we'll have the all-tournament team presentation, the trophy ceremony, as well as the cutting down of the net for the Celts. And Brian, any final thoughts on this year of Trinity basketball?
Well, I think we've talked a lot about what a positive season it's been. Jimmy Smith in his first season. Winning 10 games in a row is not an easy thing to do in this conference or any conference, really. So just amazing to see the performances that they've had. And overall, just thrilled that we got a season in for the men and women's teams. You know, that wasn't a given at all after the year that it's been. So I've just been thrilled to be here and getting to call these games with you.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been a relief, like you said, that we even got to have the games and that both the men's and women's team able to bring Trinity fans so much joy this year. And obviously disappointment today. And congratulations to the Celts, who got the job done with some terrific shooting. We'll run you through the final box score for Trinity in the losing effort. Enzo Seiki, 17 points on 8 of 16. 1 of 6 from 3, also 3 boards as well in 28 minutes. Hanley had 8 points. Jenkins was 6 on 3 of 17. Another tough day for him. Clark, 9 points on 4 of 9. White had 7. Brown had 8. And a few others adding 2 or 3 here and there for Trinity, who put up 66. For St. Thomas, who finished the game with 80 points, they were led, of course, by Juan Hood, who exploded in the first half for 20 points. He only had 4 in the second half, but that's all he needed as his team stepped up alongside him. Cameron Gims, 18 on 5 of 10 shooting. Double-double for him with 11 rebounds. Inafani had 6, and Alekwe had 21 on 9 of 17, 7 rebounds. Ricks the third with 8, and a couple of others with a point or 2. But really the scoring has to, it came from the three-point arc, Brian, and that's the way that they were able to go from such a close game to a lopsided final score. But ultimately, as the Seiki and Clark are announced as part of the tournament team, we just want to thank you for joining us all year. It's been fun. And congratulations to the St. Thomas Celts, 2021 SCAC men's basketball champions.
From St. Thomas, Christian Alekwe. And the most valuable player from St. Thomas, Juan Hood. Congratulations to this year's 2021 Men's All-Tournament Team honorees. Big hand for all of them. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. Before we present the 2021 SCAC Men's Basketball Championship Trophy, we'd like to recognize this year's runner-up, the Tigers of Trinity University. And now, SCAC Commissioner Dwayne Hanberry will present the championship trophy to the 2021 Southern Collegiate Athletic Conference Men's Basketball Champions, the Celts of the University of St. Thomas. Congratulations. Congratulations again, gentlemen. Congratulations.